The sun was shining brightly that morning. Outside a grand hotel, a shiny black limousine waited while guests gathered, chatting excitedly about the wedding. White roses decorated the entrance, cameras flashed, and a red carpet stretched across the steps. Everything looked like a fairy tale. But no one knew that this wedding, meant to celebrate love, was about to become a stage for pride, cruelty, and an unexpected twist. Daniel, the groom, stood proudly in his crisp white tuxedo, soaking in the admiration of his wealthy friends. By his side, Sophia, his young and elegant bride, glowed in her gown. For Daniel, this was more than a wedding, it was proof that he had won in life. And to make his victory sweeter, he had done something cruel. He had invited his ex-wife, Emma. Not out of kindness, but out of spite. He imagined her showing up in cheap clothes, broken and embarrassed, watching from the shadows as he married a better woman. In Daniel's mind, this would humiliate her forever. But Daniel had no idea who Emma had become. Years earlier, Emma had been a gentle, hard-working woman who gave Daniel everything, her time, her love, even her small savings, to help him climb the ladder of success. She believed in him more than she believed in herself. But when wealth finally entered his hands, Daniel changed. Love was replaced by pride. Instead of cherishing the woman who sacrificed for him, he abandoned her, filing for divorce and leaving her with nothing. Broken and alone, Emma was ready to collapse, until she discovered she was pregnant. And not with one child, but with triplets. The fear was overwhelming. How could she raise 3 children alone, with no money, no support, and no partner? But something inside Emma shifted that day. She realized she was no longer powerless. She was a mother, and her daughters gave her a reason to fight harder than ever. The years that followed were full of struggle. Days spent juggling jobs, nights rocking 3 crying babies. She went without food sometimes, but she never let her daughters go hungry. Slowly, through determination, she found her way. She landed a small job at a design studio. Her natural creativity shined. Eventually, she opened a little boutique. At first, it was small. But with time, it grew. People respected her not just for her talent, but for her perseverance. By the time Daniel's wedding day arrived, Emma was no longer a shadow of the past. She was a strong, graceful woman, raising 3 beautiful daughters with dignity. That morning, Daniel stood tall, believing everything was perfect. Guests applauded, Sophia posed for photographs. But then, another limousine pulled up in front of the hotel. The crowd turned. Whispers rose. The chauffeur opened the door, and out stepped 3 little girls in matching yellow dresses, holding hands, their curls bouncing in the sunlight. And then, Emma emerged. She wore a deep green gown that flowed elegantly, her face radiant, her posture strong. Holding her daughter's hands, she walked forward. Gasps filled the air. Guests stared in shock. The whispers grew louder. Is that Emma? Daniel's confident smile vanished. His face went pale. Sophia stiffened, clutching her bouquet nervously. But Emma didn't come to fight. She didn't come to cry. She came with quiet dignity. She held her head high, her daughters beside her, and in that moment, she commanded more attention than the bride herself. Guests who once believed Daniel's cruel stories about Emma saw the truth with their own eyes. They saw respect in the way her daughters looked at her. They saw strength in her calm smile. And suddenly, Daniel wasn't the man people admired. He was the man who had abandoned a woman far stronger than him. The ceremony continued, but the atmosphere had shifted. People whispered not about the bride's dress or the flowers, but about the woman who had just walked in. Some guests discreetly congratulated Emma. Others looked at her with silent apologies for ever believing Daniel. Daniel tried to hold his pride, but inside he was crumbling. He had planned to disgrace Emma, but instead, she had revealed his own emptiness. By the end of the night, everyone remembered only one moment: Emma stepping out of that limousine with her 3 daughters, her head held high, shining brighter than anyone there. She hadn't needed revenge. She didn't need to speak a single word. Her very presence was enough to rewrite the story. In the days that followed, whispers spread through the community. Daniel's arrogance was exposed. Meanwhile, Emma's boutique flourished. Customers came not just for her designs, but because her story inspired them. She became a quiet symbol of resilience. Proof that sometimes, the best revenge is not anger, but living well, with dignity. Emma, once abandoned and humiliated, had risen higher than ever. Not because of wealth, not because of revenge, but because of love, love for her daughters, love for life, and love for herself. Her daughters grew up knowing their mother's worth, not their father's cruelty. And Emma, she finally found peace. She understood that pain had shaped her, but not defined her. That kindness and strength would always outshine pride. Sparkles, if this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner. And don't forget to comment below, what would you have done if you were in Emma's place? Because sometimes, your reflections can inspire someone else who is walking the same path.